haven't done this in a couple weeks. I'm going to be stale.
4 time with Myriad. You're going to crush it today, Marta.
Okay, great.
You're here today with Coach Jared and
Marta.
Question.
Yes.
Why don't you ever say Coach Marta? Or
I don't know.
Teacher Marta? Or
Well, Teacher Marta doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
not a-
And I feel like because I'm a yoga teacher and a coach, I feel somewhere like coach/teacher.
Yeah,
And
fair.
that's weird.
Fair. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Myriad Leadership Program and what that is, how that became into existence, and the whole, everything about that. So as we go through, ask me a question.
Ask you a question?
Yes. Say Say I'm going to tell you what to ask. Say Jared, what is the Myriad Leadership Program, or where did it come from?
Well, I was going to ask that anyways.
Cool.
Without that prompt. Jared, what is the Myriad Leadership Program?
So, Marta, years ago, we realized that we had a ton of amazing members who know so much about our culture, know so much about our classes, know about, want to get more interested in movement. And so I think probably circa 2000, maybe 15, 16, we started the Naptown Leadership Program. And what that was an opportunity for our members to start observing classes, learning from our coaches. At that time, it was myself, Peter, and Anna. And we would do one-on-one mentorship with those individuals and go through and talk about like how programming works, the flow of classes, observing classes to see how other coaches run classes, learning about anatomy, learning about the body, literally learning like in detail about what it takes to be a CrossFit coach or a fitness coach at Naptown at the time. And then what was really cool about that, it gave us an opportunity to essentially test out individuals, and it's like a tryout to whether you want to be a coach or not here with us. We got away from it. We did it for a couple different iterations, couple different years in a row. We're able to find some awesome coaches from it. It's not always the opportunity to like find a coach, which we can talk about that more later. But then we got away from it for probably the last 3 or 4 years, just with all the other things, the move, the pandemic, a lot of transitions within the space as a whole. And then we sort of had a nice little reckoning of like, why don't we do this again? And so we did, and we started the Myriad Leadership Program. I would probably call it like 4.0 at this point, and kicked it off, and it's been going really, really well. So what are your feelings? You've gone through the program.
Yeah.
Was this 2021?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years now.
Okay, what was your experience like?
Through it. It was great. It was cool. I got to go through with a number of individuals who are on the staff right now. Actually, Blair and Robin went through with me, which was really cool. And then a couple of other members from around the space. And what I really liked about it is I love group learning. I like learning in general, but sometimes learning on my own, it feels boring and I don't get as much out of it. So the leadership program provided a lot of opportunity for me to get together with other people, learn in a group, and have some more applied learning. So being able to practice with each other, cueing, and how to get into movements was really helpful. And what was really cool, there was a couple of sessions where some of the coaches who've been around for longer in Myriad would show up. And it was nice to learn alongside them and get their feedback as well. So getting a lot of different perspectives from people. And it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I forgot to mention. So in the world of like CrossFit specifically, the way to become a CrossFit coach is essentially you just have to have your CrossFit level 1. And that is a course that you take on a Saturday and a Sunday. And then if you pass the test, then you get your level 1 certificate, and now you can be a CrossFit coach.
Right.
However, having been doing this now for 13 plus years, we have realized that it takes way more to be a really good CrossFit coach or to be a really good coach than to just take a weekend seminar. So there needs to be more. And there are more certifications. You can take your level 2 with CrossFit. You can do you can take this big giant level 3 test. There's a level 4 trainer, which is like almost impossible to get to that level. There's only like 20 of them in the world or something like that. But what we started to see was like there's a gap, right? And that gap is why we created the Naptown Leadership Program, now the Myriad Leadership Program. There's other series out there like Two Brain Business has an advanced theory course, or they used to have an advanced theory course. So like there are other businesses who know that there's a gap happening, and we identified that early back in 2015, 2016 to start this, and bringing it back has brought so much joy to myself. because I think you and I are very similar in this, and so is many of our coaches. We love to become the best version of yourself as a coach. You have to learn how to teach, right? And teach the concepts you're teaching classes, but to other coaches as well. And so that's been really neat to kind of go through that experience. So we have these individuals. Because they're in this, does that necessarily mean they're going to become coaches?
No, not necessarily. So people come into the leadership program because they might have an interest in coaching. Some people also, though, honestly, it's kind of similar to like when I took a yoga teacher training.
Yep.
People enter the training because they want to coach or they want to teach, but then also people want to grow as individuals themselves. I think you learn a lot about your own fitness as an athlete as well by learning to watch others or learning to teach others. It gets you more involved with your own personal fitness, which is really cool. And it's just a way to grow as a leader. Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot about how to teach people how to move. We also talk about how to deal with people as individuals and how to show up as a leader in a space. And that is applicable across, many platforms, not just here as a coach, but in life in general. I think that being put in the position of a coach or a teacher encourages you to be a more confident person and to be a more understanding individual as well, because those are all characteristics that are really important when you're in that kind of a role.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that I've heard this in years past when we ran this before, and I've been hearing it with this cohort right now, is just like, wow, there's a lot more to coaching than I ever expected. And I think that's the resounding yes, there is a lot going on. First and foremost is like developing the social skills to be able to stand up in front of 20 to 25 people. You're like a performer at that point in time. Like, it's like you're in front of those individuals. There's now like everyone's looking to you for the answers. Everyone's looking to you to tell them where to go, how to do it. And if your brain's not turned on to the progression or turned on to whatever it is, like logistically from a group management perspective you need to do, now like, are you okay with being uncomfortable if you don't know where you're supposed to put people? Like, how do you solve for that? And so there's so many moving parts, and it's really neat as we're teaching these individuals for them to go through this and have a lot of aha moments as they go through it.
Yeah, because I think if you're a really good coach, it doesn't show that you're working through all that stuff in the background, like you're problem solving all the time.
Yeah.
But if someone's really good at it, you don't know that's what they're doing. They're just like on it constantly, and that is a big part that I think people aren't aware of, is the many different ways in which you're constantly problem solving as you lead through a class. It's so much more than just being like, this is how you do a power clean.
Yeah. So right now we have like 7 or 8 individuals going through the cohort, and at the very end, that doesn't necessarily mean all of these individuals are getting jobs or going to become coaches right away. What it does for us, though, as a business, is it allows us to level up our coaching. And that is something, right now, as well as moving forward into 2025, is going to be our keyword. It's going to be our motto, so to speak, is like coaching, 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 because at the end of the day, to differentiate ourselves as a business, our product equals
Coaching,
exactly.
Slow on that.
No, you're good. I didn't set you up very well for that. And what's really cool about it with these individuals going through the leadership program is even if they're not, on the floor as coaches, we know, I know, Richie knows, our staff knows that they graduated with us. They went through this program. So if we're in the middle of a class and a member who's brand new needs a little bit help with a front squat, and I know I worked with, let's call him Johnny, and I worked with Johnny in the leadership program, I'd be like, hey, Johnny, go over there and help out Tim over there for getting the front squat going. And like, I know that individual already knows everything, even if they don't have their level 1, even if they haven't gone through a certification of some sort. Like, them working with us gives us the confidence that like our community as a whole is going to get better at coaching, get better at movement, and get better at this thing that we do, which is fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone's been in a class before where maybe like you're new to a gym or something, and it is really nice to have someone that steps in and helps you. But I know being in a situation where a bunch of people are just kind of like being thrown at you and helping on their own can be a little bit overwhelming. So the coach knowing that there's people around that they can rely on, it's like that person is going to be a good helper. They know how to talk to people, really ups the experience for individuals who just need a little more, like a friendly hand talking them through what's going on in class. So that'll be a huge advantage.
So the program itself, kind of talk about that a little bit. How many weeks is it?
It's 11 weeks total.
Yeah, I think it's 10 to 12 weeks. I
10
think
to 12
there's
weeks.
a couple floats in there.
Yep.
We meet every other week or weekly?
Sort of. It's about every other week.
So I would say
we have a lot of vacations we're working around.
Yeah, so there's about 6 to 8 in-person sessions.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of Zoom sessions as well.
Yeah.
In which the entire cohort, as well as us, myself, Marta, and Richie, are there as the leaders, kind of proctors, I guess you would say, leading the session.
Yep.
There's homework, so weekly
Yes.
there's different homework readings that aren't too intensive. You know, it's a couple 10, 15-minute.
Observing classes, writing lesson plans.
As I say, yeah, observing classes per week is part of the homework as well. So there is some extracurriculars to this program.
Yep.
But that's how you're going to learn and get better at something, is by putting the time and effort into it. So it is a time-intensive program, but I think at the end of it, it's going to be, for anyone who goes through it, it's a phenomenal ability to kind of almost like apprentice, kind of like intern a little bit, and just see what it looks like to do what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah, just to get a little taste of coaching
So
from all aspects.
no guarantees or promises when the next cohort will go out, but we will have that cohort. Hopefully in 2025 we'll have one as well. And then hopefully once a year we do this moving forward, and we continue to not only develop potential coaches, but we also develop our members into just better movers and better leaders within our community. So anything to add to that?
No, I don't think so. It's a lot of fun, though. So
It
if
is.
you have
It's-
any interest at all, I mean, just keep your eyes open and let us know. Talk to us.
It has been an absolute joy to work with those individuals, and just I know you love teaching, and I love teaching as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't do what we do. But like seeing them ask the questions that are just like in-depth questions of just like, oh my gosh, I just want to like squeeze them all. So
Yeah.
awesome. 3, 2, 1, done.
Yay.